Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hixson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. We are at Hixson AutoPlex in Alexandria, Louisiana, in conjunction with our good friends at KSYL 970 AM. By the way, and I know, I don't know if I can say this, but I know they're getting ready to be, they're already FM HD, and they're getting ready to have an FM dial, too. And if I jump the gun on that, people can fuss at me later. I was told that that's coming as well. So, I mean, that FM's going to blow it out for them. That's going to be really nice. Anyway, Dallas Hixson, of course, my special guest, and talked a lot about insurance in the first segment of the program. You know, you mentioned something. Let me just go. Let's go to that. First of all, any comment, Dr. Billy Graham? You know, I told us the audience yesterday, my dad, you know, back then we had 3 stations. And my dad was not a TV watcher. He just wasn't a TV watcher. Yeah. And he watched a few sports with us, but, you know, and every now and then a movie, but he just wasn't a big TV watcher. He was an outdoor guy. I mean, he stayed outdoors, outside all the time. But when Billy Graham Crusade came on, they used to put him on TV. Yeah. I can't remember if they were Sunday through Wednesday, Sunday through Tuesday, Monday through Wednesday. Our whole family was required, come on, y'all watch all this stuff and do. We're going to watch Dr. Graham. Dr. Graham came to LSU, the only crusade he ever had. I want to say 69, 70, 71, right in there. I don't remember the date. But the whole family went, 5 kids and mom and dad. And then when they did the calling, we all went. And, of course, we had 3 youngest went in this group, and then the 2 oldest went in this group, and then my mom and dad had this group. And our whole family was actually saved at a Billy Graham crusade.
Interesting.
And the only Billy Graham crusade. Now, he had a big imprint, Angola, in the prison ministry.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if, I mean, him personally and his whole group
and his entire ministry.
Yeah, and so just what a man to be missed. He never cared about Democrat, Republican, black and white and all that stuff. He always was a man that reached out to anybody and everybody. He looked, huh? 1970. See, I was close. 1970, I was a 9-year-old kid. But I never remember. Billy Graham affected me because I never walked up there. Nobody was forced to go that night. We all went. Billy Graham influenced a lot of people for 99 years.
Yep.
400 and something crusades, 185 countries.
Yeah, 200 I think, I looked at the numbers the other day. As a matter of fact, my wife shared this with me also. I think it was 210 million people. Is that right? I hear yes. 210 million people, I think, have attended his crusades. Millions and millions and millions of people have been saved. And I asked Cindy, my wife, the other day, I said, I wonder what the exponential number is. How many people were directly saved
and then indirectly
through him and his ministry, and indirectly they've gone on to share their faith, and like you're doing this morning, and in fact, influence other people. What's the number?
You can't add that up.
Yeah.
That's just that. It would take you Common Core math to add that up, and that'd take too long, and we don't have time for it. The bottom line is, I know he did an influence on me as a young person, and today, and it was amazing. My wife bought me another study guide for daily devotional, and I do other things, and I include that. The last one Graham wrote.
I saw that.
We got. I have it at the house, and I've been using it. And boy, when I got it, I said, you know what? I'm always hold on to this one because of how he affected me.
Absolutely.
You know, there were people out there, and I read on the air yesterday. Happy's dead. He was a pitiful man. I couldn't believe people jumped out and said that kind of nasty stuff.
That's okay.
On a man.
Every knee will bow.
Everyone.
And every tongue will confess. Yep. It's coming.
Yeah, and what's sad is this was not a guy that was political. He went to see Obama. He went to see Clinton. He went to see the Bush, Ronald Reagan, Nixon. He did it all. And he looked straight through all the politics to look at the person.
Absolutely.
And that man was an amazing man. That was only an amazing person that can affect that many people.
Yep, I agree.
And I guarantee you, except for these few nuts that are, he probably wouldn't have called him a nut. He'd probably be mad at me for calling him a nut. But he never did anything to hurt anybody. He wanted you to better your life from within. And you can't do it on a fishing pole, and you can't do it going on a vacation, and you can't do it when you make a lot of money. You know, and by the fact, the thing I read today was there were a lot of people that have made a lot of money and got successful and got to the top. And when they got to the top, they were just as miserable when they were trying to get there because they did not have the inner peace.
To fill the void.
Okay, so we got laws. We got gun laws people don't pay attention to. We got laws you can't kill people. People don't pay attention to them. And the reason for it is man-made laws don't change the hearts of man. Jesus Christ changes the hearts of people.
Yep.
And Billy Graham represented to the best of his ability, and he'd be the first to tell you he was flawed.
Oh, absolutely.
If Billy Graham was flawed, man,
I may as
well go check out, because I don't have a chance. But that's what Jesus did. He came for sinners like you and me. I just, as I reminisce and think about Graham and the effect on my life, because my dad was willing to say, "Hey guys, come on, I want y'all to come listen to this man." He wouldn't preach it to us. He would say, "I want y'all to come listen. This is going to be something we're going to do together." I'm thanking my dad, because he died, right before Christmas. But I'm thankful for that. That's what I remember. And anytime, I had a little brother, still do, 14 months younger than us. So you can imagine, we kind of fought sometime. And matter of fact, I never beat him, but I might beat him up next time. And I will tell y'all, I remember him putting this in our lap. Something as simple as this. You think you hate each other, but me and my brother really loved each other.
Sure.
So we're sitting there one day, and Daddy heard us fighting back and forth. He said, "Look, we got this baseball team. Y'all want to play on the same team?" And I went, "No, I don't want to play with him." And he goes, "I ain't playing with him." Daddy said, "That's real good, guys." And he starts telling us, said, "Now, when we talk to the Lord, and you brothers, and y'all tell him," and he gives a story off of Graham on something as simple as that. Before you know it, we cried and said, "I want to play with you. I want to play with my brother." But it was. Why did I remember that story of all stories? Because he used great examples.
Yep.
And he was using it from
what
Dr.
Billy Graham used was he used very humble, real world examples.
Oh yeah, all the time.
And he made faith very simple. As he explained it.
It is simple.
He explained
We've
it
complicated
where
it.
Somebody that's 80 in his audience or somebody that's 8 in his audience could understand the grace and mercy of Jesus Christ.
I was 9 or 10.
Yeah.
How did I understand? My daddy was understanding something. I may have not been a lower level, but I understand. But Billy Graham's message, and I'll end it with this, if you got another comment, was I heard somebody tell me one time, "Well, I like Dr. Graham, but he just don't preach enough meat." I heard this in the church one time, and I got angry, and I had to watch myself. And I thought, if everybody acted like Billy Graham,
the world would be a lot better place.
The world, not Louisiana, the world would be a better place. And you can go get all the meat you want off of that. But if you don't make it to what Graham was teaching, you can't make it and understand and know and seek. You see what I'm saying? You got to make it through the first step, recognizing that you're a sinner and I'm a sinner. You got to recognize that first. And you got to recognize who came for you. You're talking about the cross. If you can't recognize that, how you going to understand everything else? So, going back to what you said, simple. Somebody that speaks English, Spanish, Chinese, whatever, understood Billy Graham.
And this gets off the Billy Graham subject, but it goes back to the tragedy in Florida where the young man shot those students. And I was talking to a men's group on Tuesday about this, that's the first time I've seen on social media where a lot of the people that were involved in that, not necessarily the people who were killed's families, but those around in that scenario, lashed out and said, "I don't want your thoughts and prayers. I don't need your thoughts and prayers." Several of them had, I call BS standing from a podium. Kids spouting that out. And, I think I've seen a tide turn in our country where, we went to a period of time where God was in our country. We've kicked him out of public places, kicked him out of the schools and everything else. Then we went through a time of tragedy when we called on God. God, where are you? Why were you not here after we kicked you out? Why were you not here in this particular tragedy? Now we've moved to the stage where we're calling on God, cursing God in many ways. I think our country better be very careful. We're losing the hedge of protection.
I'm going to read this to you. We posted this on my Facebook. It was like on the back of a T-shirt. It said, "Dear God, why do you allow so much violence in our schools? Signed, concerned students." Dear concerned students, I'm not allowed at schools. God, look.
Yeah.
That was posted.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of hits on it.
Yeah, I saw that.
And, they can say what they want to. Here's the deal. You go back to Columbine when it shocked the world. And we've had a lot of shocks since then. I think Brandon told me the other day it was 19 years ago. We did nothing to change the culture back where it was.
Sure.
We did nothing to change what's happening in the schools. And I'm not just talking about prayer. I'm talking about, okay, we're going to find some people that can shoot back. We're going to find some people that are sitting here, nobody knows that has a gun. We're going to find some people that, they had a guard, they had a sheriff's guy there, and he didn't go in. We're going to find some people now to protect our kids.
Yeah.
And Dallas churches have gone to protecting their people because you don't know who's out there. And it's a shame it's gotten down to that. But this is what immorality, sin does to a culture when you look the other way. I hate it. I hope my kids never have to go through the traumatic stuff, even being killed for that matter, for school. But I'm not saying they couldn't. Who am I? I'm just a man just like you are.
Yeah.
But I know this. If we could do something about it, why don't we do everything we need to do about it?
Well, I know our children are desensitized. I've had weapons in my house since I got married. I've been in a home that has probably a couple hundred weapons.
Well,
my entire time I grew up, and my weapons never went out and hurt anybody. And
the weapon doesn't kill anybody.
Yeah, no, I understand, and that's a huge debate right now.
Come,
I
let me ask you a question.
Fire up that.
Take a break. I'll take a break. We're going to go to some other stuff. How come if somebody gets drunk, gets in the car, and kills somebody, we blame the car? I mean the person.
Yeah, well,
but if somebody shoots somebody with a gun, we blame the gun.
Yeah, well,
it doesn't work that way.
If it's poison, we don't blame the poison, we blame the person. If it's but
in this case, we blame the gun.
Yeah, no, I understand, and I'm watching these children lash out in Florida, and rightfully
so.
Rightfully so. They've got a voice in that, and I saw, I'm a lifetime member of the NRA. I've got 3 weapons in my car right now.
They pounded the NRA, and NRA has done nothing.
No, I know. And as a lifetime member of the NRA, I've got 3 weapons in my car. Look, I'm just telling you, I think that, and this is my personal opinion, not necessarily the opinion of my company and or the station you're listening to, some of those disclaimers. But, I really think that we do have to consider they're not going to take my guns away. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to give them up. My guns haven't hurt anybody. In my home, my children use them and respect them. And I think, but I think we have to get to the point where we've got to look out for people, that we've got to do a better job of screening to see that people, I saw it on Facebook the other day, and I saw this battle going on with some of my friends on Facebook, and I just kind of looked at all the comments, and they were saying, one group was saying, raise the rate for assault weapons to 21. The other one says, well, you can join the Army at 18. If you're going to raise, then you ought to raise the Army entrance level to 21 if you're going to do that. Well, the Army takes an 18-year-old and teaches them how to respect and use a weapon.
So does the NRA.
Yeah, I understand. So, I know we've got to address some of that, but I think we've got to address more than that. We've got to address mental health. We've got to address desensitizing kids with violent video games and virtual reality. Virtual reality is going to make video games worse.
My buddy called me a while ago before I got here, and he said, the video games, you go kill 10,000 people.
You get extra points.
Get your friend in China, you get extra points, you get pumped up about it.
Yeah.
Let me take a break. When Dallas comes back, sales tax is going to go down, which I think is going to help.
Thank goodness.
We'll talk a little bit about that when we get back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Hixson has it hotline. You're welcome. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607, Hixson has it hotline. Visiting with Dallas Hixson, of course, Hixson AutoPlex, HixsonHasIt.com. Dallas, I'm going to talk vehicles with you in the last segment. I want to jump gears. I want you to hear this. Brandon, I hope you got it ready. Aaron McCarty and Keel Radio is not Aaron and Robert. I'm sorry. Robert's going to slap me because I knew Aaron for so long. Aaron was instrumental in getting me on Keel.
Yeah.
But it's Aaron and Robert, and they do a great job on the morning program. We got a great one at KPL and Lafayette as well. But they, a while back, we came out with this piece, and it was given to me about Jay Dardenne. The governor keeps saying he cut $600 million. And we know he didn't cut $600 million because there wasn't no weeping and gnashing of teeth. And he said that's how they help balance the budget. Well, he's dug in on that.
The budget has grown billions every year.
It's grown $5.4 billion since he's been in office.
Sure.
Okay. That's federal and state. And state's up over $2 billion in new taxes.
Right.
Okay. And you know that.
And eventually, well, anyway.
Well, let me set this up for you. So, Jay Dardenne in August, and it's Lance Harris, who's from here, is questioning Dardenne about the $600 million in cuts. And Jay says, I never said that. There were no cuts. So the governor comes along back on Keel Radio a couple of days ago and says, oh, yeah, cut. And Jay never said that. Jay never said that. So they put together a little deal where they interviewing the governor, and then they put the deal next to it where Lance Harris was interviewing Dardenne not saying it. And by the way, Dardenne has now said a couple of weeks ago in the newspaper, oh, there were substantial cuts. So this is why you don't have co-governors. You need one governor. You don't need two. So I'm gonna let you listen to this, okay? And Brandon, if we can, pick it up where we picked it up last time. This will be, I think, Aaron, not Roberts, doing the speaking. Then it's the governor. Then they'll fast forward, and you'll hear Lance Harris asking Jay Dardenne, and you'll have Aaron and Robert in between. You'll be able to follow it, Dallas, even though you went to Tech. All right, here we go, Brandon, go.
Been confused by this, Governor. Jay Dardenne in August said we haven't made cuts. We've made fund shifts or whatever he wanted to call it. Can you explain that to us simply so we understand what you're referring to when you keep saying $600 million in cuts have been made?
Yeah, well, first of all, Jay has never said we haven't made cuts. He said that there's been a combination of cuts and that there were means of finance swaps and other things that we've had to do over the years. He's never said we haven't made cuts.
Here's the governor's quote. Jay, meaning Dardenne, Jay never said we haven't made cuts.
Jay never, remember this, Jay never said we haven't made cuts.
So here's the Jay Dardenne being the first voice you hear, a senator at the Joint Budget Committee hearings in, I think it's August of last year, and he asks him specifically about what they call finance swaps and whether or not those are cuts.
So I guess my question is, when we're addressing the public and we say that we reduced or we cut the budget by $600 million is probably not accurate when the majority of that means a finance swap. Would you agree with that?
I would not have. I don't think I've used the phrase
I'm
cut the budget.
I'm not saying you have, but I've heard some other people use it.
What was the Jay Dardenne quote there?
I don't think I've used the phrase cut the budget.
So the governor says Jay never said we never made budget cuts.
Jay said, I don't think I used the phrase cut the budget.
When you have two governors, that's what happens. He said it. Then the governor comes on and said he never said it. Never said it.
He never said he didn't say it. That's what he said.
And then you listen to him say it again.
I never said that.
Basically, I didn't say nothing about cuts because they're not cuts. They're not real cuts.
No, they're not.
And it's frustrating.
If you make a cut, there's two types of cuts. Number one is, the cut that I appreciate the most. Let me take a budget. Let me shrink the budget, and let me place more money back into the pockets of people that are Louisianians that paid my budget. That's a cut.
Okay, I'm going to simplify it. Even a Tech graduate can understand what I'm going to say. I like to, because we're dealing with some of these zeros, let's get down to reality.
Yeah.
Let's deal with the number 10. This ain't a common core question. Is 9 less than 10?
Yes.
Okay. Is 11 greater than 10?
Yes.
Okay. So if we start at the baseline of 10 and I go to 9, you can actually say we went down and cut.
Sure. But
if I go to 11, I can't tell you I went to 9.
Yes.
It went up. How simple is that? Say, ULM, I even got that.
Now,
by the way, they had to explain it to me 92 times. Don't worry about it.
But you got it to 93.
But my point being, I only wanted to get rid of the numbers.
Right.
Because what we're saying is, matter of fact, in 2016, I forget the report now, and I apologize, but I'll find it for people. There was $2.4 billion raised in state taxes. We got 50 states.
Sure.
That was raised in 2016. You know how much Louisiana raised?
Oh, yes, sir.
1.6 to 1.8 billion of
and
it. That is a fact. Nobody else was even close.
Idaho had a couple $100 million.
That's correct.
And that was the closest one to us.
But think about that.
And I do remember that report. I saw that article as well.
But, think about what I just said. So the governor says he cut 600. Then he's been digging in, even in his speech. He said, we cut 600. He went from going 600 million. When we called him on that, then they jumped it to 672.
Right.
When we called him on that, he said since he's been in office, he's cut $981 million.
No.
He ain't cut anything.
Well, and I mentioned a moment ago, there's two ways to have a cut.
Sure.
Number one is you've got a revenue source. Now, I told you the one I agree with is money back to the people, but let me share this. The first one is you cut your budget, you continue to raise money based on the current structure, but you cut your budget and you keep the money, and it's called a surplus. Over and above what you spend, there's a surplus there. The part that I like, and I understand states can generate and sometimes have to generate and do keep a surplus, I think that's smart. I think a couple of years ago, actually, the state of Texas had a surplus, returned some of it in the form of a tax refund to the people in Texas that had paid it. They're still collecting money.
The difference was we had $1 billion, $1.1 billion when Jindal went in. He put it back in the general fund. He spread the money around, and we lost it. And by the way, I want you to think about this. If they put money into things that are reoccurring, now we know why we $1.1 billion short.
Absolutely.
The same thing happened when you put that money in the budget. You got to have much more. So when the governor and the legislature decided to add $1.6 billion and $1.8 billion in new taxes, now they want to maintain the growth in government.
Absolutely. And we have habitually in this state lived beyond our means.
Yep.
And we have had to burden a dwindling number of taxpayers to pay for that indulgence is what it is. I'm going to
say it again. I said it yesterday. I've been doing this program from Edwards to Edwards for governor. Edwin to Bell.
Yeah,
I've covered Mike Foster, Governor Blanco, and Bobby Jindal.
Right.
And I'm going to say it again. We haven't changed one thing in this state to make it better. Oh, we've had a lot of changes. We changed this way, then we go this way. Remember the motorcycle helmet? Yeah. Mike Foster came and said, no motorcycles. Blanco came and said, put the helmets back on. That's a great example of what we do here. One governor comes in, I don't want the motorcycle helmets. The next governor comes in, I want the motorcycle helmets. The motorcycle helmet, we motorcycle helmet everything here.
Yeah.
Change it. But we really don't change the outcome and the direction. And I'm going to go back to what you said earlier, and I'm glad you said it because you're a business guy. You're a lot better one than me. Stability in the business climate first. You get stability in government.
Yes.
We're trying to get Bill Edwards and Robert, former Senator Robert Early, what a joke. He told us that he knows a company in Texas would come here. They already doing business here, but they're located in Texas. They'll come here when we get the government stability in place. And I thought,
which means they'll never come here. Well, at the current pace.
Here's the problem, Dallas. The businesses are over there because it's a better place to do business. They're not going to come here because, so in other words, if they make it hard on businesses, but state government gets stable because they take it so much, they come in here? Yep. Makes no sense. By the way, it wouldn't name the company.
We are in an economy right now where more businesses are closing in Louisiana or leaving Louisiana than are generated in Louisiana. We are in an economy right now with the instability of TOPS, where more students, we are back to an exodus of students that are leaving Louisiana.
We're losing people again, Dallas. And why? They leave for one reason, really.
Inconsistency.
I know, but the biggest reason they leave is jobs.
Absolutely.
So if we can correct the business climate here, that's going to give you the stability for your tax base. That's going to give you your stability for people when they graduate, they stay here and work.
Sure.
It stabilizes everything.
But Moon, I think in some parts, we think that if we educate our kids here in Louisiana, miraculously under not this administration, you named it. It's
from Edwards to Edwards. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's the environment we're in that's not John Bell Edwards, and it's not our current legislature. This has been going on for a long time. That just because we are of the mindset, I'm not, but a lot of people in our state administration, government, are of the mindset that if we educate these kids, miraculously, they're just going to invent a job for them to stay here.
It doesn't work that way.
All we're doing with TOPS right now is educating our kids and showing them you can make a whole lot more money leaving Louisiana. My own children are in the process of doing this.
I could say Edwards to Edwards and include Dave Treen and Buddy Romer.
Buddy Romer, absolutely.
And I can go Edwin Edwards in the 70s to Edwards now. And if I could look at the governor right now, I would say you're no different than anybody else. And I'd look at Bobby Jindal, who was going to be totally different, who wasn't no different. Than not making anything stable. Starts with the business climate, and then you build off of that. You don't build government, and then the businesses come. Try this, and we'll take a break on this. Let's say we knew of a place anywhere in the country that had nothing. Okay? But you decided we wanted to start a community there. Try to go build the courthouse first. Try to go build the police station first. Try to go put the red lights in the streets first.
You can't do it.
You can't do it because if government created the tax base, we would all be millionaires.
Absolutely.
It works totally opposite. And that's what I'm saying, from Edwards to Edwards. Nothing's ever changed in this state, and we need to change it. And I want to come back.
My kids are brilliantly smart, which means they obviously take after my wife. You know,
well, you didn't have to tell me. I know that.
Exactly. You know, and my daughter, I don't see my daughter come back. I have the privilege of being partners and working with my brother. I'm the oldest of four. I work with my younger brother.
Yeah.
And I work with my brother-in-law, and I work with my father. And I am not sure, based on where we're headed today, I will ever have, and it's a saddening thing for me, somebody born in New Orleans, raised in Lake Charles, grew up in DeRidder, lived in Ruston, lived in Monroe, back in Alexandria. I mean, I've been around this state. It's sickening to me that I may not have the same privilege to work with my daughter or my son the way I've been able to work with my brother-in-law, my brother, and my father.
And you called it, and that's happening for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
All right, we got to take a break. We got to take a break. Be right back. Hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hixson has a hotline. We're here with Dallas Hixson, who stepped out a second. I know his dad called. It's business be more important than talking to me, I can promise you. But we got a great guest and a guy that gets my tummy rumbling. My man, David Bertrand. Oh, you know I like to brag about shucks. David joins in. Actually, David's running the studio. He may take the whole thing over. David, how you doing?
Hey, Moon, I'm fine. Listen, I'm sitting in a nice, comfortable recliner. They say this is where you sit most of the time. Dang, this is luxury, brother.
Well, I know it's luxury. Anytime you got Brandon Como to Shomo, as Cornelius calls him, I mean, how can you not live in luxury? But, hey, I think you're doing a few crawdads now, aren't you?
Man, Moon, finally, you know, the weather straightened up, and we are like rolling in the boiled crawfish, and they are beautiful. You know, Moon, we have one farmer that we get our crawfish from. One of the finest farmers in Vermilion Parish, big rice farmers, thousands of acres. They dedicate several hundred every year for their crawfish season, and we get first pick every day. We get them culled, and you know, right now they're a nice medium to large size, unbelievable, great fat in them, and it's just everything crawfish lovers love.
Now, you know, David, last year was really the first time y'all started, and of course I brag about you all the time, as you know. One of the things I noticed was you're looking for quality crawfish. A crawfish doesn't have to be big to have quality. It's medium to large. You pop the tail out, and I remember last year, me and my wife used to sit down and go, look, when you pop the tail out and the meat shoots out, you got a heck of a crawfish. And that's what y'all served last year to go along with all the other great things y'all serve in Louisiana cuisine.
Yeah, Moon, it's a nice combination. We took a risk last year, and for the first time since 1973, we did the ball crawfish. We waited until we knew we could do it well. We waited until we had a source that could supply us consistently and with high-quality stuff, and it's just been a great success for us. And then, you know, it's oyster season, too, because the crawfish have been, you know, burying themselves in the mud. Them dang oysters are getting nice and fat, and every day I have somebody saying, best oysters I've had all year, best oysters I've had all year. You know, it gets a little monotonous, but I don't mind hearing it. You know what I mean, Moon?
Well, there's no doubt about it, David. They probably heard it from me. I got to tell you, you know, I don't. And David fusses at me. David don't think I weigh enough. He thinks I need to gain some weight if I'm gonna push his food around. He tells me that all the time. But when I normally bring a couple, sometimes a couple couples. And David, this is what's amazing, and I'm gonna say this: that I've tasted charbroiled oysters in a lot of places, and they're good. We don't cut people here. At least not food places. Maybe if you're a politician, we might. But I've eaten oysters all over the place. And I tell people to try y'all's charbroiled or the raw. It doesn't matter. I'm a big raw oyster. But if they ever go in there and eat the oyster supreme, I know people. Brandon Como's sitting across from you. He's not an oyster eater. He didn't eat spinach. But when he ate yours combined on the char grill, I couldn't get him away from him. But if they ever go in and eat the oyster supreme, if they ever go eat that, they're not going to find a better oyster in the world. That's just a fact.
Well, we appreciate that, Moon. And it's I tell this crew every day, you know, we did a good job yesterday, but today's another day. I think what's one of the secrets to our success is that we enjoy and appreciate each person that comes in our door. We want to do a good job for them. We want them to be proud when they take guests, like you take guests over. We want you to be proud when you walk out, that those people say, man, when we come back, I want you to take us there again. That is our ultimate goal. And it's our greatest joy is serving folks that from around Acadiana and visitors to Acadiana.
There's three things, David, before I let you go, people say when I take them to eat there. The food is phenomenal, number one. Number two, God, the atmosphere here is unbelievable. And then number three, thank you, Moon, for paying for it.
I love it.
Well, David, you can't beat what I just said. But anything else you want to add? Because I know you welcome anybody that live in this area. But people listening in Shreveport and Lake Charles and Baton Rouge and Alexandria, real quick, tell them when they come in and say they heard it on a program and they come in, you can tell story after story, and they're traveling through and they come there. That's really big for them and y'all because you're meeting a new set of people.
It sure is big for us, Moon, and we love those folks from all over Louisiana. We're just happy to share our culture and our food. It's like I said, it's our greatest joy.
David Bertrand, thank you. Tell Bert how I saw him last time I was in there. I had a date with Maddie, just me and Maddie, and Mama and Walker were gone, so it was just me and Maddie. And let me tell you something, those waitresses at your place, they love on that little girl. I ain't gonna tell you what they do to me, but they love that little girl, and I'm grateful for y'all, man. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Moon. Good talking to you.
All right, you too. That's David Bertrand. If you hadn't been to Shucks, it's a happening. And I'm telling you, not only is you're going to like the food, but if you're out there sitting there and you had to wait 30 minutes, an hour, you go, wow, that was quick because you just had a heck of a time. Anyway, we got to go. All right, we'll be back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show.